Hey everyone, this is Jackie Cooper with Jay Cooper Travels, and I want to welcome everyone here for listening today. And I'd like to ask that you definitely like and subscribe to the Jay Cooper Travels show and podcast, as well as the YouTube channel, so you can have access to all the continuing conversations. For example, today I have a really special guest on, Scott Johnson. He has had other conversations with me on our show. And for those that are not aware of how a podcast or YouTube works, I do have the information block below. And so when you look below, then you'll be able to actually have access to Scott's contact information as well as my contact information. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to both of us. The other thing I just want to share is Jay Cooper Travels is more than just a travel talk show. I mean, we do talk about locations, but we also talk about our personal journeys in life, and we travel in life both, within our career, within our family life, as well as geographically. So today's conversation is all about finance and how do we travel. But I also want to mention that, if you have any interest in pursuing this as a career, definitely, reach out to Scott. He's multi-talented in many ways, and he can also talk to you about that. Scott, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I'm very gratefully well, and I'm happy to be here, honored to be here. Looking forward to our conversation.
So for those that might not have listened to your previous talks and conversations, share a little bit more about your story. I know that you've been involved in a lot of different career paths, and right now you're helping people in so many ways. So why don't you share a little bit more so people can know how you got started and why you're doing what you're doing?
Thank you. That's an excellent question because, yeah, I would like to do that. I've been having since we last talked, had some thoughts about this, and I would like to try to share those. So, first of all, I want to say we've been married for 43 years, my wife and I, not Jackie and I, and we made many financial mistakes because of not understanding our finances. My parents struggled with money, even though dad had a good income and was a steady income, worked the same place for many years, for most of his adult life. But towards the end, he made several serious suicide attempts, and they were all about financial struggles. They were not successful. He lived his full life to 94 years old, recovered from the depression he went through. But uh, I then went in my career was helping families with their bereavement for some 25 years in hospice settings, and saw a lot of the financial stress they were going through when a loved one had died, even though they died predictably of cancer usually. Uh, and then the last 15 years, I've been a board member of Survivors of Suicide Loss here in San Diego. And what I've discovered is in middle ages, people who take their lives between 40 and 64 years old, research shows that 40% of those suicides are related to job loss, foreclosures, or bankruptcies. So I'm on a mission to educate people about the money so that they can make smarter decisions about their money than my wife and I have made, and live a happier life. Our life has been happy, but when we've had stress, it's been around money, and I think that may be pretty common. Uh, so anyway, and also I've learned. I came out of retirement to work here at World Financial Group to help educate people, improve their financial literacy, and found there's a lot of options that I didn't know about in life insurance. I hope to share some of those here, some today and some other times.
Yeah, no, I know that what you're saying is really important, and I hope that listeners will definitely reach out, get guidance from you, because you're definitely a professional. I'm not the professional financial advisor. You're the expert in this area. I know that today's topic is about term insurance, and I know that the three things that we're going to talk about is why it's important to have term insurance, some of the pros and cons, and the fact that it's really important for everyone, no matter what the age, to think about that. I know when I was in my 20s, I never thought about term insurance, but now I have it for both my daughter as well as myself. So definitely go ahead and I'm gonna let you start talking and sharing about term insurance. I know now, later in my life, the importance of this, and you're gonna see, for those that are on YouTube, you're gonna see my dog putting her nose up because she just wants some attention. For those that are on the podcast, I'll mute myself so she doesn't bark. But anyway, Scott, why don't you share? And thank you for educating us.
Sure. I'm glad to. Term insurance is something that's easy to overlook, but it's something that's really prevalent and really important. It's usually it's like a car insurance. It's very simple. It's for coverage for something happens, the unthinkable happens. It's protect primarily breadwinners. So and it's usually used by people that are younger. So people starting out in life, they will buy this because it's inexpensive relative to other insurances. You can get good coverage for not a lot of money, probably for take a week out of Starbucks and you can pay for it for the month. You usually buy 30 years, but you can buy 10, 15 year, 20 year, but it's for a set term. Like I say, it covers you if the worst happens. You can't take loans on it like you can with many kinds of insurances, life insurances. You don't get any money back. You can, there's some policies, some people will sell them where you get your premium back at the end of 20 years or 30 years, whatever. But those are more expensive. They got to cover that cost of returning that premium. So you pay more, and that kind of, I think, undermines the purpose of term insurance. That is, that inexpensive, just a straight vanilla insurance. But you can, depending upon the policy, you can convert it to permanent insurance when it's that time or any time you want. So there's that possibility too.
So what are the pros or the cons about what term insurance is?
Sure. So it's inexpensive initially. You have the option to renew or convert to permanent policy. You get a massive amount of coverage for a small price. There's a living benefits rider. It may be offered through work. And I should say something about the work. If you get it in the workplace, that when you get coverage at work, group coverage, it's almost always term, and it works the same way as the term that we're describing here. With one thing that people sometimes overlook is if you leave that job, then that life insurance ends, and you need to go in and pick up some other life insurance. So it's better if you use this term insurance as an adjunct to some other permanent insurance in those situations. So the cons, those are some of the pros. There's income protection. The payments, I should say, too, are level. So say you decide to get and I'm not quoting anything here. I don't have this off the top of my head what it would be, and it would depend on your age and so forth. But let's just say you were paying $50 a month for a $1 million coverage. That's $50 for the first year. It's $50 for the 29th to 30th year. It's the payments stay the same throughout. There's no increase of payments, which is why you'd want to choose a 30-year over, say, a 10-year. Because if you do the 10-year and you decide to buy another one at 10 years, then your premium's going to be higher. And it's a tax-free death benefit, so there's no tax on this if the worst happens and the person dies and the person who receives the benefit, they don't pay taxes on that. The cons are that it's just a 10 to 30-year coverage. And if you do it year over year, then the premiums go up every year. And there's no savings on it. And the break even or you lose money after the term expires, that means that if you get the kind where you get the premium back, inflation has happened and you still don't, you don't have that money. It's going to be less money. Sorry, I didn't say that very well, but it's not going to be as much as you put in. It's not going to buy you as much when you convert.
But I know that I have term insurance for my daughter, and I do have the type of policy where I get a certain amount back at the end of it. So, I mean, the reason why I decided to do that is because I knew that at a certain age, I wouldn't need to cover her anymore.
Right.
And she would be in a different place in her profession. And this was, even though, like you said, it might not be the full amount back because of inflation, I at least am getting back some return. So that's why I decided that. So from your perspective, what are your thoughts about those type of policies and options?
Yeah, I think as long as you know that you went into it knowing that it's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's worth it for you to get some of it back, and you're not expecting that you're going to break even on the money you get back. That's fine. It's just to know the pros and cons, to go in and get the clear picture from whoever you buy it from. And it sounds like you've done that, and that's nice. I like that you've done that for your daughter, because that's a way that parents can help their young adult children until they get on their feet financially. So, and yet it's not, like I say, it's not an onerous premium. So, thank you for doing that. That's good.
So we had talked about briefly that individuals, no matter what their age, they need to be thinking about, looking at term insurance, whether they're new to the workforce or whether they're families. You want to explain the reasons why it doesn't matter what age you are, it's really good to always hop on and think about this?
Yeah. Oh, sure. There's a couple of things. There's the obvious protection of the if you have insurance through group insurance, say you have 50,000 at work, you're making 100,000 a year. So that 50,000 for your survivor is going to pay to get you buried and maybe a couple months mortgage, and that's not very much, really. It sounds like a lot until you start figuring it out, because if you're making 100,000 and you're working for 30 years, that's a lot of money. That's a couple $1 million by the time you're 65. So I think you have to look at the amount of coverage, and term is an inexpensive way to do that. Something else that you have with term, with some of the policies, is something called living benefits, and those are offered through Nationwide and Transamerica currently. And among those are that, for instance, if you're terminally ill, you can get 100% of your death benefit before you die. So if you've got a terminal, if you're, say, on hospice and you've got 6 months or something like that, you can take out your full amount and use that for medical expenses or for travel or whatever you want to do with your time and the time that you have. You can also use it for chronic situations. If there's something that we call the activities of daily living, ADLs, and there's 6 of them. And if you lose 2 of those for more than 45 days, and I should go say what those are. Those are like ability to bathe yourself independently, that you're continent, that you can dress yourself, you can feed yourself, toileting independently, you can transfer independently. And so you can lose those in a car accident when you're young. So anyway, if you have that happening and it's longer than 45 days, usually, you'll get up to 24% of your death benefit per year that you have that. So that's an important consideration too, that you usually don't have insurance for that, or insurance that covers it the way this does. This just gives you a cash out. You don't have to spell out exactly. It's not going to a doctor or to physical therapy or anything. It's going to you to cover whatever expenses you need. And then the third area of living benefits is what we call critical, and that's for cancer, heart attack, or or a stroke. And if you have those, you can get up to 90% of your death benefit to cover those. If you have those, depends on the severity of each. So that's some of the considerations for getting term insurance.
So for those that are interested in reaching you, Scott, how would they contact you?
The simplest, I think, is through one of my personal email addresses that it's just easier to transcribe. It's called Scott, and then the letter N and the letter S and letter D, because I'm in San Diego, scottnsd@gmail.com. That would be the best way.
And again, for those that might be listening, but maybe they don't have a pen or paper, I'll definitely be putting this in the block below, so you'll be able to reach Scott. And if they're interested in looking at a career switch or kind of getting involved with the financial side, because a lot of people right now are both working at home or maybe looking for a career transition. You've done a few. What would you recommend? And could they become involved with working with you?
They certainly can. I'm looking for one or two really good people with high ethical standards and hardworking that understand what our mission is. That is to educate people who are interested in doing that. And this could be part-time or full-time. We're independent. We're 1099 independent contractors. So you're your own boss. We have really good mentorship there, good training, hands-on. You can work from home. You don't have to be in San Diego. If you're in San Diego, that's great. We have an office in Scripps Ranch, a really nice office that we just opened up last year. But we're doing a lot of remote, as everybody is this year, and we're fully remote. We have partners that are in various states, in Washington, Utah, all over the United States. So that's not an issue at all. So I'd be glad to contact me. I think she'll have a phone number down below too.
Yep.
And I'll give her the link to where you can sign up for an appointment, and you can do anywhere from a 15-minute to an hour and a half appointment. And those are free. Any of the work we do, we don't charge any of the money to any clients, prospective clients, or anything like that. We get paid from we work with, I should say, we're dealer brokers in the insurance field. So we can represent any number of about 100 companies that are all A-rated companies. And so we can find the best products for the client's needs if they do need something. But the work we do with clients is educating, and in that process, if it turns out that there's something that we can provide them that's comparable price to what they have with better service, or that is less expensive for the same, then we'll do that, offer that to them, and there's no obligation for them to purchase, of course.
Yeah, so again, for both those that are looking for this type of product, or even those that might be looking to do a career change, definitely reach out to Scott. I also have a variety of things that I'm working on, and you can reach out to me. I'm happy to share offline. Scott, I know we're going to have other conversations. This is a really important topic. I know a lot of times, just like with travel insurance, people don't think about it until they actually have a need. So this is the type of thing with term insurance or any other type of insurance. Think about this in advance. I mean, Scott can help you on that side. I can help you on the travel insurance side. But it's all part of planning, and it's all part of, I know I have the topic up above is what is your New Year's resolution? And a lot of times on the top of the year, we think about our health, our wellness, our finances, and, our travel goals. So again, think about where you want to be, in the coming months and years, and think about planning, and reach out to Scott for a free consultation. And definitely subscribe and like to the Jay Cooper Travel Show, because we'll have continuing conversations with Scott and others in a variety of fields, as well as travel around the world. So thank you so much, Scott. Any last minute thoughts before we sign off?
Oh, no, thank you. This was helpful to do this. I'm still learning to present like in this situation. So I really appreciate this. I hope that it's helpful to a lot of your listeners.
I'm sure it is. I know that I learn every time I listen to you and you share. So thank you so much for being on, and I'll talk to you soon.